This is one of the days in my life vlog. When I began putting all the video clips together, I thought adding a theme to this video would be cool. Or at least there has to be a lesson learned or something important that happened which made this day different from the rest of the days. And by the end of the day, it was clear to me that this day was about realizations. As usual, I began my day walking in the garden. Looking at the plants casually. I smiled, seeing flowers blooming in one of the lilies. I frowned and got concerned when I saw one of the plants unhappy and dull. With tea in one hand, I grabbed the hose and began to water this trying, unhappy looking plant. While watering, I thought, maybe this isn't the right place for it. Moving to a new place where it can get more sunlight may bring some life and with time happiness to it. I left this thought as it is, at least for now, as the rest of the plants were waiting for a quick morning talk with me. Now that as I already have the hose in my hand, I thought let me water the vegetable plants as well. As I approached them one by one, they expressed their love to me in return. The mustard greens were peeping in between the dense pumpkin vine with their beautiful tiny little yellow flowers. While doing so, I grinned, looking at the small figs on the tree. I uttered, "Gosh, this tree was a small plant when I brought it home. Look at now. Time flies." Moving to the front yard with the hose in one hand. The tea was finished, so I rested the cup on the porch and told me, "Remember to take the cup inside when I am done watering the plants." The orange marigold flowers were infusing their aroma in the air I was breathing. I took some time to gaze at their beautiful color. The hydrangea was waving leaves with joy. The tree I revived last year was spreading its vine-looking branches all over the rose plant. I turned off the hose as I finished watering. I sat on a step gazing at the plants I planted and cared for. With a feeling of gratitude, I was enjoying myself. I was relishing the morning breeze, filling my morning with calmness. My phone rang, which I could hear even from outside. I stood up, took my empty cup of tea, and ran inside. I also took with me the joy that brought these flowers, filling my entire day with serene vibes. The next chore was to cook lunch. I looked around, the dirty dishes were still in the sink. The kitchen counter was cluttered. I took a deep breath and began to arrange. But we don't just do our chores, there is always something in back of the mind that goes on. I was also thinking of many things, but this is what I was thinking if I summarize. In a real farmhouse kitchen, the fresh produce comes every season or in some regions throughout the year and is consumed fresh. The dynamics of the farm kitchen are very different from the one we have in our urban homes. I try to keep my kitchen good looking. I grow very few things and every now and then I get overwhelmed with the amount of effort that goes into managing it. In my small kitchen garden, when I get the produce every season, my work increases. Once I arranged and cleaned the kitchen, I stepped out in my backyard. I started separating the stalks from the mustard greens to make saag. While doing so, I noticed some of the leaves have small pockets made by bugs. I put the hard stalks in my composting bin. This also gave me a sense of understanding about how hard the farmers work in order to bring the fruits and vegetables to us, and then how hard the workers work at the grocery stores to keep the store clean and well organized. I could think of farmers and grocery store workers to mention, but there are many more steps involved. Between that, take a significant amount of work to maintain the food supply chain. While rinsing the mustard greens and spinach, again the thought process kicked in, and this is what was going on in my mind. It is upsetting when we go to grocery stores and refuse to buy the not so good looking fruit and vegetables and pick the ones that are appealing to our eyes. I work so hard to grow my vegetable garden and my heart breaks when I see the produce being spoiled and eventually wasted in stores. But we don't stop there. We buy groceries for a week or sometimes for a month and then end up wasting at least one fourth of it. Some of them go for composting and the rest in trash. We end up wasting the effort that goes in. That way, we waste food and our hard earned money. Going back to cooking, this is how I make saag. Add mustard greens and spinach to a tall container. I chose tall container as I will be using an immersion blender to blend the greens. Add half cup water. You can add more water later if needed. Put the lid on and to medium let it cook for 5 minutes. Add salt to taste, 1 teaspoon turmeric powder and 2 tablespoons corn flour. Put the lid on and let it cook for another 5 minutes on low heat. With an immersion blender, blend the spinach and mustard greens slightly. In a tadka pan, heat 1 tablespoon ghee and add cumin seeds, dried red chili, then turn off the heat and add 1 teaspoon of red chili powder. Now add tadka to cooked greens and let it boil for another 2 minutes. The saag came out really nice. I absolutely loved it. The saag goes well with bread. I had it with Indian bread or roti. And the take from today's realizations is to be practical. Do not make a fuss if the vegetable or fruit do not look beautiful or have a bruise on it. As long as they are safe to consume, they are good. Value the effort that goes behind every fruit and vegetable and food overall.